welcome to the course Design of Reinforced Concrete Structures. In this lecture, we are going to solve a problem on the design of two-way slabs. The condition being the corners of the slab are held down. So the question given here is design a reinforced concrete slab for a room of clear dimensions 4 meter by 5 meters. The slab is supported on walls of width 300 mm and the slab is carrying a live load of 4 kN per meter square and the floor finishes given here are 1 kN per meter square. The grade of concrete is M20 and the grade of steel is Fe 4 and 5 and the condition given here is the corners of the slab are held down. So now here is asking to design the slab. So here it is not mentioned that whether if it is a one-way slab or a two-way slab. So first what we'll do is first let us write down the given data and find out whether it is a one-way slab or a two-way slab. So first let us write down the given data. So in the step 1 let us write down the given data. So what is the given data? The shorter span and the longer span are given here. So what is the length of shorter span? The length of the shorter span, that is Lx, it is given as 4 meters and the length of longer span, that is Ly, it is given as 5 meters. And what it is given? The support width, that is the support width, it is given as how much? 300 mm. Live load is given here. The live load is being 4 kN per meter square. The floor finish is given. The floor finish is 1 kN per meter square. The grade of the concrete is given, which is 20 Newton per mm square, and the grade of steel is also given here, which is 4 on 5 Newton per mm square. So this is the given data and the condition given that the corners of the slab are held down. Now what first we have to find out whether if it is a one-way slab or a two-way slab. So for that what we have to do, we have to find out the Ly by Lx ratio. So Ly is nothing but the length of the longer span, which is 5, and Lx is nothing but the length of the shorter span, which is 4. So 5 divided by 4 will give you a value of 1.25, which is less than 2. So what? Hence you have to design for a two-way slab. What we have to do? We have to design for a two-way slab as the Ly by Lx ratio is less than 2. If the Ly by Lx ratio is greater than or equal to 2, then what you have to do? You have to design for a one-way slab. So as here the Lx by Ly ratio we have got 1.25 and as it is less than 2, we have to design for a two-way slab. So what is the next step what we have to do? The step 2 is here we have to calculate the thickness of the slab. So how we will calculate the thickness of the slab? So we have to take the span to effective depth ratio. So how we will take the span to effective depth ratio, that is L by D ratio is what we have to take here or we have to assume here. So what the slab is a simply supported slab But what you can see here, the length of the shorter span is more than 3.5 meters, isn't it or not? So if it is less than 3.5 meters, then for a simply supported slab, the L by D ratio will be 35. But here the length of the shorter span is more, that is, it is more than 3.5 meters. So here what I am doing is, I am taking the basic value first, that is the L by D ratio. The basic value for a simply supported slab will be 20. Here what I am doing is, I am going to assume some modification factor. I am going to increase. This is the basic value. So to this basic value, I am going to multiply this basic value with some modification factor. And here I am assuming a suitable L by D ratio as 25. So here what is the L by D ratio I am considering? The L by D ratio here I am considering it as 25. So from this I am going to calculate the effective depth. So L by 25. So D will be equal to L by 25. So how much is L here? L is 4000 divided by 25. So if you will solve this, you will get a value of 160 mm. So this is what our effective depth is going to be, which is 160 mm. So now what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the overall depth D. So I will calculate the overall depth, the effective depth plus an effective cover. Here I am assuming let the effective cover be 15 plus the dia of the bar divided by 2. So here I am what I am going to do is, I am going to assume the diameter of the bar as 8 mm bar. So 160 plus 15 plus 8 divided by 2. So it will be the overall depth. The overall depth will be 179 mm. Approximately I want to take it as 180 mm. So as I have increased here 1, I want to take the effective depth D as 161 mm. So what? Here I am taking the effective depth D as 161 mm and overall depth D as 180 mm. So what is the thickness of the slab now? The thickness of the slab is 180 mm. Now what? We have calculated the thickness of the slab and we got it as 180 mm and the effective depth I have taken it as 161 mm. So what is the next step what we have to do? The step 3 is to calculate the effective span. So how will calculate the effective span? It is the center to center of supports and the other one is the clear span plus the effective depth. So first let us calculate the center of the center to center of the support. So what will be the center to center of supports? It will be 4 plus 0.3 divided by 2 because the support width is how much here? The support width is given as 300 mm. So it is 0.3 divided by 2 plus 0.3 divided by 2 which will give you 4.3 meters. So this will be along the shorter span. In the similar way if you will calculate for the longer span, it will be 5 plus 0.3 divided by 2 plus 0.3 divided by 2 which will give you 5.3 meters. This will be along the longer span. So this is the effective span for considering the center to center of supports. In the similar way, let us calculate the effective span considering the clear span plus the effective depth. So what is the clear span here? Along the shorter direction it is 4 plus the effective depth. What is the effective depth? It is 161 mm. So 0.161. It will give you 4.161 meters. And this is along the shorter span. And along the longer span it will be 5 plus 0.161 which will give you 5.161 meters. So out of these two, which one we have to consider? We have to consider the least value, that is the least of center to center of supports and the clear span plus the effective depth. So out of these two, we have to take the least one, and from that what we'll take the effective spans as. In the shorter direction you will take it as 4.161 meters, and in the longer direction we are going to take it as 5.161 meters. Now what? The step 4 is to calculate the loads acting on the slab. So first what we have to do, we have to calculate the self weight of the slab. How will calculate the self weight of the slab? It is the overall depth, which is 0.18 meters, into the unit weight of the RCC. So what is the unit weight of RCC? It is 25 kilonewton per meter cube. So which will give you a value of 4.5 kilonewton per meter square. And what are the other loads? It is the live load, which is given as 4 kilonewton per meter square, and the other load is being the floor finish, which is given as 1 kilonewton per meter square. So what these are all the loads which are acting on the slab. From this what we have to calculate? We have to find out the total load. So the total load will be 9.5 kilonewton per meter square. So this is going to be our total load. So but in the design what we have to do? We have to use the factored load. So factored load, how will calculate? So 1.5, that is the load factor into the total load. So what is the total load? It is 9.5 kilonewton per meter square, which will give you a value of 14.25 kilonewton per meter square. So but what we are calculating? We are calculating for unit width. So for that reason it will become 14.25 kilonewton per meter square into 1 meter. So it will be 14.25 kilonewton per meter. So this is going to be our factored load. So the factored load is 14.25 kilonewton per meter. So now what we have calculated the load which is acting on the slab. So what is the next step what we have to do? The next step is we have to calculate the maximum bending moment and the shear force. What we have to calculate the bending moments and the shear force. So the bending moments and the shear force. So for the bending moments, it should be calculated from NXT of IS 456-2000. So what is the condition given here? The condition given here is the corners of the slabs are held down. So from NXT of IS 456-2000, there are equations for calculating the bending moment. So based on those equations, we are going to calculate the bending moments and the bending moment coefficients. So what are the equations given there? That is MUX is equal to alpha x into W into Lx square, and along the y direction it is given as MUy is equal to alpha y into W into L x square. So these are the two equations. So where alpha x and alpha y are the bending moment coefficients, W is going to be the factored load and Lx is the span in the x direction, that is the shorter span, effective span. So now what? Let us calculate the alpha x and alpha y values. So for this particular case of the corners of the slab are held down, the alpha x and alpha y values are taken from table 26 of IS 456-2000. So what? From table 26 of IS 456-2000, what will take the values of alpha x and alpha y. So what did that table contain? It will consist of Ly by Lx ratios, and there will be different conditions like types of panel and moment considered. So in this way there will be 9 conditions. For those 9 conditions they will be given the alpha x and the alpha y values. So based on the Ly by Lx ratio and the condition which you are taking, you have to choose the alpha x and the alpha y values, which are nothing but the bending moment coefficients. Now here in this particular problem, that is for the condition of corners of the slab are held down, we are going to take the condition 9, which is 4H discontinuous. So here what? The slab is simply supported on the 4 sides. So here the condition being taken is 4H discontinuous. So for this condition of 4H discontinuous, for the Ly by Lx ratio, now we are going to find out the alpha x and the alpha y, that is the bending moment coefficients. Now what? I have taken the condition 4H is discontinuous, and now first what we have to know, we have to find out the Ly by Lx ratio. So previously we have already found out the Ly by Lx ratio. So what is the value we got there? The Ly by Lx ratio, what we got there is 1.25. So what is the Ly by Lx ratio here? I got it is 1.25. Now for this particular ratio we have to calculate the alpha x and the alpha y values. So for any values of Ly by Lx, that is whatever the Ly by Lx ratio it might be, the alpha value for this particular condition is given as 0.056. So this value is for what? Any ratios of Ly by Lx. So this is from where we have taken it from the table 26. Okay, from the table 26, this value, the alpha y value, it is taken as 0.056. But for the alpha x, what we have to do, this is an intermediate value, so we have to take the previous and the after values and we have to go for the linear interpolation. So what are the values given? That is, here it is 1.2, it is 1.3. So 1.2, the alpha x value is being 0.072. This is the unknown what we have to find out, and for 1.3 the alpha x value is being 0.079. So for xy the value is already for alpha y the value is already known, so it is 0.056, but for alpha x we have to know this by doing the linear interpolation. So do the interpolation and then you will get the value, this unknown. So if you do the interpolation, we will get the value of alpha x as 0.075. So now what we have calculated the bending moment coefficient, that is the alpha x as well as the alpha y. So what is now we have to calculate? We have to calculate the mu x and the mu y. So how we will calculate the mu x? Mu x is equal to alpha x into w into Lx square. So here alpha x is 0.075 into w. So what is w? The load which we have calculated previously. So how much is the load we got? W is equal to 14.25 kilonewton per meter. So 0.075 into 14.25 into Lx. So what is the value of Lx? It is 4.161 whole square. On solving this, you will get a value of 18.5 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton mm, which is nothing but 18.5 kilonewton meter. So this is the value what you will get if you will calculate mu x. So next what? Next we have to calculate the mu y. So now what we have to calculate the mu y. How we will calculate the mu y? The equation is being alpha y into w into Lx square. So how much is the alpha y value we got here? Alpha y is being 0.056 into w. So what is the w? It is 14.25 into Lx. So what is the value of Lx? It is 4.161 whole square. So from this you will get a value of mu y. So the value of mu y being 13.81 kilonewton meter, which is 13.81 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton mm. So this is the mu y. So now what we have calculated? We have calculated the movement along the x direction and also along the y direction. The next step is to calculate the maximum shear force. That is, we have to calculate the Vu. So how we will calculate the Vu? Vu is equal to W L by 2. So what is W? W is 14.25 into L. What is L here? L is 4.161 divided by 2. By solving this, you will get a value of 29.65 kilonewton. So this is the maximum shear force, that is Vu is equal to 29.65 kilonewtons. So now what we have calculated the bending moment and the shear force. So what is the next step we have to do? The next step is we have to calculate the minimum depth required. Now let us calculate the minimum depth required to resist the bending moment. Now the next step is to calculate the depth required to resist the bending moment. So how we will calculate this? ME is equal to 0.36 into FCK into B into XU limit into D minus 0.42 into XU limit. So mu here what will take? We'll take the maximum moment, and the maximum moment is 18.5 kilonewton meter. So 18.5 into 10 to the power of 6 is equal to 0.36 into FCK, that is the grade of concrete is 20, into B. B here is what? We'll consider for 1 meter with 1000 into XU limit. So the grade of steel here is Fe 415, so the XU limit will be 0.48 into D into D minus 0.42 into 0.48 D. So now from this what we can do? We can get the value of D, which is the effective depth. So and the value of D here is 82 mm. So this D is what here? It is the required depth, which is meant for resisting the bending moment. The effective depth what we have provided is what? It is 161 mm. So 82 is less than 161 mm. So what? The required depth, effective depth is 82 mm, but we have provided more than that is we have provided 161 mm. So the provided depth is adequate. So the provided depth is what? It is adequate. Now what? We have calculated the depth required and we have provided the adequate depth. So this is the depth what we are going to use in the further calculations also. So now what? In the next step what we have to do? We have to calculate the steel reinforcement to be provided. So we have to calculate the reinforcement which is to be provided in the x direction, that is along the x direction, as well as the reinforcement to be provided along the y direction. So first let us calculate the reinforcement to be provided along the x direction. So the reinforcement to be provided along the x direction. So how will calculate the reinforcement which has to be provided in the along the x direction? When the condition, that is the corner of the slabs, are held down. So what we have to do is we have to calculate the reinforcement only for the middle strip. Okay, for the length of that middle strip only what we have to do? We have to calculate the reinforcement. So first what we have to do here, we have to calculate the length of the middle strip. So the length of the middle strip is calculated by using the formula 3/4 of Ly. So now what? We have to calculate the length of the middle strip. So that is 3/4 Ly. So how this 3/4 Ly came from? So in Annex D of IS 456-2000, so when the condition, that is the corner of the slabs are held down, is given, we have to calculate the area of the steel reinforcement for this particular middle strip. Okay, so how we'll calculate? So that length of the width of the middle strip is calculated by 3/4 Ly, and these two are the edge strips, and the edge strips length can be calculated by Ly by 8. So this is our longer span and this is our shorter span. So here we are calculating the length of the middle strip, which is 3/4 Ly. So it will be equal to 3/4 into Ly. So Ly is how much? It is 5.161 meters. So if you'll solve this, you'll get a value of 3.9 meters. So this is going to be the length of the middle strip. Now let us calculate the area of steel which has to be provided along the x direction. So how will calculate? By using the equation mu x is equal to 0.87 Fy into AST into D minus 0.42 XU. So in place of XU, what you have to substitute? You have to substitute 0.87 Fy into AST into D minus 0.42 into 0.87 Fy into AST divided by 0.36 FCK into B. So MUX, what is MUX? It is 18.5 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton mm is equal to 0.87 into Fy is the grade of steel, which is 4 on 5, into AST is what you have to calculate here, into D. So what is the effective depth which is taken? it is 161 mm. So 161 minus 0.42 into 0.87 into Fy is 415 into AST divided by 0.36 into FCK is 20 and B is 1000, because we are considering for 1 meter width. So if you solve this, you will get a value of AST is equal to 332.5 mm square. So this is the area of steel which is required. Okay. Then what we have to do? We have to check for the minimum area of steel to be provided. So this is the AST which is required for carrying this particular moment along the x direction, and now we are doing the check. So it is 0.12% of the gross area. So it is 0.12 divided by 100 into B into D is the overall depth. So 0.12 divided by 100 into B will be 1000 and D will be the overall depth, which is 180 mm. So if you will solve this, you will get a value of 216 mm square. So this is what? This is the minimum AST which has to be provided. So the minimum AST which has to be provided is 216 mm square, and what we have got here is 332.5 mm square. So the value here is more than the minimum AST, so hence we have provided adequate area of steel, hence it is okay. Now what we have got the area of steel. So what is the next thing we have to do? We have to find out the spacing required. Okay, now let us calculate the spacing required and let us check for the spacing also. Now what we have calculated the AST required and we got the value of 332.5 mm square, and we have checked for the minimum AST. The minimum AST is 216 mm square. Now what we have to find out the spacing which is required. So I will calculate the spacing. Small AST divided by capital AST into L. So small AST is pi into d square by 4. So what? I will provide 8 mm dia bars. So I am going to provide 8 mm dia bars. So pi into 8 whole square divided by 4 whole divided by the capital AST, which is 332.5 mm square into 1000. So if you will solve this, you will get a spacing of 151 mm. So this is what you are going to get your spacing. So hence what? Along the x direction. So along x direction we are going to provide 8 mm dia bars at 150 mm center to center, 150 mm center to center in the middle strip of width 3.9 meters. So in the middle strip only we have designed the reinforcement here. So in the middle strip of width 3.9 meters, which you have previously calculated, for that strip we are going to provide 8 mm dia bars at 150 mm center to center. Now what? Now let us calculate the steel required along the y direction. Along the y direction. So this one will be Ly and this is our Lx. This is the middle strip and this is going to be our edge strip and this is also our edge strip, and this distance will be 3/4 Lx and this distance is Lx by 8 and this distance is also Lx by 8. So this is for what? This is for span Ly. The previous one is for span Lx. So now what we have to calculate? We have to calculate, okay, the reinforcement required for this middle strip only. Okay, so in the similar way, now we'll calculate the width of the middle strip. So we'll calculate the width of the middle strip. It is 3/4 Lx. So this one is given as in IS 456-2000 Annex D. From that you have to take this. So it is equal to 3/4 into Lx. So what is the value of Lx given here? It is 4.161 meters. So from that you will get a value of 3.12 meters. So this is the width of the middle strip, which is 3.12 meters. So for this 3.12 meters only, what we have to do? We have to calculate the area of steel reinforcement. So now let us calculate the area of the steel reinforcement. That is how we will calculate. Mu is equal to 0.87 into Fy into AST into D minus 0.42 XU. The same equation. Here it will be MUY. So MUY is equal to 0.87 into Fy into AST into D minus 0.42 into 0.87 Fy into AST divided by 0.36 FCK into B. So MUY, what is the value of MUY? We have previously calculated. It is 13.81 kilonewton meter. I am converting it into Newton mm. So into 10 to the power of 6 is equal to 0.87 into Fy is 415 into AST into D. Here what we have to calculate the D. Okay, because we are calculating the reinforcement along the y direction. So how we will calculate? So if this is the thickness of the slab, this will be our capital D. So this is going to be our reinforcement which is provided in the x direction. So this center distance to this top will be our D, which is nothing but 161 mm what we have taken, and the reinforcement in the y direction will be provided like this. So now what we need, this distance, this particular distance is required. So that is what we have to calculate here. So we'll calculate the D. D is equal to 161 minus pi by 2 minus pi by 2. So D will be 161 minus 5. We have taken it as 8. Here also I am providing the reinforcement in the y direction, the dia being 8. So from this you will get a value of D is equal to 153 mm. So this is going to be our D. So substitute this D here. It is 153 minus 0.42 into 0.87 into Fy is 415 into AST whole divided by 0.36 into FCK is 20 into B. B is 1000. So if you solve this, you will get a value of AST as 261 mm square. So this is the area of steel which is required along the y direction. Now what we have to do? We have to check for the minimum AST. So what is the minimum AST? The minimum AST we have calculated is 216 mm square, and here we have got it as 261 mm square, which is more than the minimum AST. Hence the required AST it is okay. Now what? The next step is we have to calculate the spacing required along the y direction. Now let us calculate the spacing required. Now what? We have to calculate the spacing. So we'll calculate the spacing, small AST by capital AST into L. So small AST is pi into d square divided by 4 divided by capital AST into L. So here also I will provide 8 mm dia bars. So it will be pi into 8 whole square divided by 4 divided by the AST required. In the y direction, what is the AST we got? It is 261 mm square into 1000, which will give you a value of 192 mm. Now what? We have calculated the spacing for the x direction also, and the spacing for the x direction we got it as 150 mm, and here for the y direction I got it as 192 mm. So here I am providing a spacing of 190 mm. Spacing as 190 mm. Now what we have to do? We have to check for the maximum spacing. Now what? Check for maximum spacing. So how will check for the maximum spacing? It is 3D or 300 mm. So for this it is 3D or 300 mm. So 3 into D. What is D here? It is 161 mm. So it will give you a value of 483 mm and 300 mm. So out of these three you have to consider the least value, and the spacing provided here is 150 mm, okay, which is less than this one, and here the spacing provided is 190 mm. So for this also we have to calculate. So hence it is okay, the spacing provided. So for y direction if we will calculate, it is 3 into, here it is, the D is changing here. So what is the D here? The D here is 153 mm. So it will be 459 mm and 300 mm. Out of these two, the least is 300 mm, and you have provided 190 mm. Here also it is safe. So we have done the check for the spacing also. Now what we are doing? We are providing, okay, 8 mm dia bars at 190 mm center to center along y direction in middle strip of 3.12 meters. So we have already calculated the width of the middle strip, which we got it as 3.12 meters. So in this middle strip, what we are providing 8 mm diameter bars at 190 mm center to center along the y direction. Now what we have calculated for the middle strips, the reinforcement required along the x direction and along the y direction. Now what we have to do is we have to calculate the reinforcement for the edge strips. So I will calculate the reinforcement for the edge strips. In annexure D of IS 456 2000, the reinforcement for the edge strips, okay, it is taken as the minimum reinforcement, that is AST minimum can be used. So by taking the AST minimum, what I am doing here is I am going to find out the spacing. So how I will find out the spacing? The spacing is equal to pi d square by 4 divided by the AST minimum into 1000. So pi into, here also I am providing 8 mm dia bars. So 8 whole square divided 4 divided by AST minimum. So what is the AST minimum? It is 261. It is 216 mm square into 1000. So from this you will get the value of spacing. The spacing being 232 mm. So if you will solve this particular equation, you are going to get a value of spacing which is 232 mm. So here what you have to do at the edge strips, that is previously we have seen. So this is our middle strip and this is our edge strip. So at these edge strips we have to provide this minimum area of the steel, and the spacing between them is 232 mm. So what here we should provide 8 mm dia bars at 230 mm center to center. The center to center spacing here I am taking it as the 230 mm. So at this edge distances we are going to provide this bars. This is for what? This is for the span LX. In the similar way for span LY also, at this edge strips what we have to do? We have to provide the same reinforcement. So this is the edge strip and this is also the edge strip. So this is, so at these places and these places what we have to provide 8 mm dia bars at 230 mm center to center. Now what we have calculated the reinforcement, that is reinforcement along the x direction and y direction, as well as we have calculated the reinforcement to be provided at the edge strips. Now what we have to calculate the torsional reinforcement which has to be provided. Now let us calculate the torsional reinforcement. Now we have to provide the torsional reinforcement at the corners. The next step is to find out the torsional reinforcement at the corners of the slab. So as the condition is the corners of the slab are held down, so the additional torsional reinforcement has to be provided at the corners, as at the top as well as at the bottom. Now let us find out the torsional reinforcement which has to be provided at the corners. So as per Annex D of IS 456/2000, what it recommends is the torsional reinforcement should be taken as 3/4 of the AST, this AST corresponding to maximum bending moment, that is the AST provided at maximum bending moment. In that the 3/4 reinforcement has to be provided as a torsional reinforcement. So now what first, this is the AST required at the maximum bending moment, isn't or not? So what is the maximum bending moment here? The maximum bending moment is 18.5 kilonewton meter. 18.5 kilonewton meter. So at this MUX, what is the AST what we have required? The required AST is 332.5 mm square. So from that what we have to do, we have found out the spacing and we got it as 150 mm. So from that we have to calculate the AST provided. So how will calculate the AST provided? So AST provided will be equal to pi into d whole square divided by 4 divided by the spacing, how much we have provided it as 150 mm into 1000. So if you'll solve this, you'll get a value of 335 mm square. So this is the area what we have provided. So this area has to be placed here. So the 3/4 of this particular area should be taken as a torsional reinforcement. So here the torsional reinforcement or the area of torsional reinforcement will be 3/4 into 335 mm square. So which will give you a value of 251 mm square. Square. So this is going to be our area of the torsional reinforcement which has to be provided. But at what length we have to provide the torsional reinforcement? Let us find out that. The length of the each strip, that is at the corners we are going to provide, isn't it or not? So if this is the slab, so at these corners we are going to provide the torsional reinforcement. So length of the each strip. How we'll calculate? This is also given and the point is given in the annexure D. That is 1/5 of the shorter span. That is 1/5 of LX. So it is 1/5 into, what is the LX here? The LX here is 4.161 meters. So which will give you a value of 0.832. It will give you a 0.832 meters, which is approximately 840 mm. So what here at the corners you have to provide a mesh. So and the area of steel here is 251 mm square. That is the torsional area is 251 mm square. Now what we have to do? We have to provide a mesh like reinforcement at the corners like this. So for that what a spacing is required, isn't or not? Now let us calculate the spacing. So how will calculate the spacing? So pi into d square by 4 divided by the torsional reinforcement which is 251 into 1000. So here also let us provide 8 mm dia bars. So pi into 8 whole square divided by 4 whole divided by 251 into 1000. So if you'll solve this, you'll get a value of spacing as 201 mm. So what we are providing 8 mm dia bars at 200 mm center to center spacing as a torsional reinforcement in the form of a mesh. So in the form of a mesh we are providing 8 mm dia bars at corners, at the corners 200 mm center to center in the form of a mesh. Like this we are going to provide. Okay, so this is how we have to design the torsional reinforcement at the corners. Now what we have designed all the reinforcement. We have designed the reinforcement at the middle strip. For the edge strips we have designed the reinforcement, and we have designed for the corners also the torsional reinforcement at the corners also. Now the design is completed. Now what we have to check? So what are the checks we have to do? One thing is we have to check for the shear, and the other one is we have to check for the deflection. Now let us check for the shear and check for the deflection. Now we have to check for the shear and for the deflection. So first let us check for the shear. Even though shear reinforcement is not provided in the slabs, the check for the shear has to be satisfied. So for the check for the shear, what we have to do? First we have to calculate the nominal shear stress. So how we will calculate the nominal shear stress? tau v is equal to Vu by B into D. So Vu we have already calculated. What is Vu? It is 29.65 kilonewton, that is 29.65 into 10 cube newtons, divided by B. B will be 1000 and D. So D here is nothing but the effective depth after the y direction, that is the reinforcement after the y direction, which is 153 mm. So if you solve this, you'll get a value of tau v as 0.20 Newton per mm square. This is what our tau v value is going to be. So next what we have to do, we have to calculate the tau c. So we'll calculate the tau c. Tau c will depend upon the percentage of tensile steel reinforcement and as well as the grade of concrete. So the grade of concrete is 20 Newton per mm square, which we know. But what we have to find out first, we have to find out the percentage of tensile steel reinforcement. So we'll calculate, it can be calculated by 100 into AST by B into D. So 100 into AST. So AST is here, I am taking the AST provided, which is 335 mm square, divided by B, which is 1000, into D, which is 161 mm. So which will give you a value of 0.21%, which will give you a value of 0.21%. So for this percentage of steel, for the grade of concrete being 20 Newton per mm square, what we have to do, from table 19 of IS 456-2000, we have to calculate the tau c value. So from that, you'll get a value of tau c as 0.33 Newton per mm square. This is for what? This is for the beams. But here we are calculating for the slabs. So for the slabs, there will be a factor K. So for slabs, tau c will be some constant K into the tau c value for the beams, that is 0.33. So as per that table and based on the depth, the constant K value is 1.24. So 1.24 into 0.33 will give me tau c value, and the tau c value here is going to be 0.41 Newton per mm square. Now what we have got, the tau v values and the tau c values. So here what we have to do, we have to compare. So if we compare, what is the tau v value? It is 0.20 Newton per mm square. And what is the tau c value? It is 0.41 Newton per mm square. So here what we can observe, that tau v is less than tau c. So if tau v is less than tau c, no need of shear reinforcement. So here the shear reinforcement need not to be provided. So hence the check for shear is satisfied. So what is the next thing we have to do? We have to check for the deflection. That is, check for deflection has to be done. So how the check for the deflection will be done? So here we have to first calculate the L by D maximum ratio and as well as the L by D ratio which is provided, and the provided L by D ratio should be always less than the L by D maximum. So first what we'll do is we'll find out the L by D ratio which is maximum. So to calculate the L by D ratio maximum, for what we have to do first we have to calculate the modification factor. Okay, first we have to calculate the modification factor. So first let us find out the modification factor. So to find out the modification factor, what we have to know, one thing is we have to know the percentage of steel, and the other one we have to know the Fs value. So the percentage of steel we have already previously calculated, which we have got it as 0.21%. So here it is 0.21. But here what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the Fs value. So how we'll calculate the Fs value? So we have the formula, which is 0.85 into 0.58 into Fy into AST required divided by the AST which is provided. So to calculate, Fs will be 0.58 into Fy is nothing but the grade of steel, which is 415 into AST required. So what is the AST required here? It is 332 mm square. So approximately I am writing it as 333 mm square divided by the AST provided. So we have calculated the AST provided also. It is how much? It is 335 mm square. So if you will solve this, you will get a value of approximately 240 Newton per mm square. So this is the Fs value and this is the percentage of steel. So from where we will get the modification factor? The modification factor can be calculated from figure 4 of IS 456 2000. In this, what on the y-axis you will have the modification factor, on the x-axis we are going to have the percentage of tensile steel, and you're going to have different curves for different stresses. For suppose Fs is somewhere over here, which is 240 Newton per mm square. So corresponding to this percentage of steel, okay, if somewhere here it is 0.2, you have to take the modification factor of this particular value. So from that you will get the modification factor as 1.6. So now what we have to do? The basic value of L by D is how much? It is 20. So the L by D max will be 20 into the modification factor, which is 1.6. So which will give you a value of L by D max as 32. So this is the maximum. Now what we have to calculate? We have to calculate L by D provided. So I will calculate L by D provided length. How much? That is Lx. Lx is 4161 mm divided by D. D is how much? It is 161 mm. So from this you will get a value of L by D provided as 26. So L by D provided is less than L by D max. Hence the check for deflection is okay. So what we have provided is less than the maximum value, hence the check for deflection is also okay. Now this is how we have to design the reinforcement for the two-way slabs when the corners of the slabs are held down.